What's up, you guys? Welcome to my Vancouver Canucks weekly recap. This is something I want to do every single Sunday, post a video of everything that happened in the Canucks world, specifically games, but even drama if that is what's to happen throughout the week. We got quite a bit to talk about today as the Vancouver Canucks played 2 games this week, as well as some very typical Canucks drama to talk about as well. So of course, if you guys are Vancouver Canucks fans and you guys do enjoy this video, it would mean a lot if you guys hit the like button, and of course subscribe if you guys are new. I post a lot of content, not just Canucks stuff. I actually am just really diving into Canucks stuff. I mostly post just hockey jerseys, as you can tell by the collection behind me. But with that said, let's dive in. So the Canucks finished preseason with kind of an underwhelming preseason in a sort. I would say that they didn't produce a lot of offense, which seemed to have a lot of people worried. To me, specifically, I was not worried. Like, I thought the Canucks not scoring very much in the preseason was not a concern for me. I really just wanted to see that improvement on defense, which, to be honest, in some of the games we saw in the preseason, other than the Calgary one, of course, I thought they did pretty well defensively. So I was kind of almost optimistic going into the season. Before we even talk about the games the Canucks played, of course, you have typical Vancouver Canucks drama with Vancouver letting Connor Garland talk to other teams for a potential trade. This happened because Connor Garland did hire a new agent. I'm not sure if that's exactly why it happened, but it did happen in that sort of kind of fashion. Now, I'm seeing a lot of mixed signals about this. A lot of people I've seen today even that Connor Garland didn't ask for a trade, that it's the Canucks that want to shop him, but then I've seen that he did ask for a trade. So I'm genuinely confused on this. All I know is he's most likely out in one sort of here or there, like either today or in the future. He's most likely off this team. And I mean, I've seen people talking about this saying, well, if Connor Garland wants out, put him on the bench. Don't let him play games. Make him sit in the press box, which in my opinion is such a petty, terrible way of handling this. If the Canucks had to retain and even give up assets to trade Connor Garland, what's him sitting in the press box going to do for the trade? If anything, it's going to make it dramatically worse. What you have to do is let Connor Garland play. You have to let him play, and you have to let him showcase what he can do in a top 6 role, which is exactly what the Canucks are doing, and I'm very glad they decided to do that. I think any Canucks fan that are saying to just sit him is being petty and is not actually thinking realistically. Realistically, the only way you trade a guy like that is by letting him play in your top 6. So that is what the Canucks did in their first 2 games this season, which we will dive into in a second. I feel for Connor Garland. I'm a big Garland fan. I think he just wants to play somewhere where he can showcase more and have like some power play time. He barely gets power play time. He's one of the best 5-on-5 producers for our team. So imagine him on a younger team, like even Chicago, for example. If he got to play on that power play with Bedard, with Hall, I think even Seth Jones, I think he would see immense support and growth on his like point totals for the season. He's a guy that's not going to be a point per game, but he's definitely a guy that could be putting up 60, maybe at the most 70 points if he gets full-time power play one time. I think Connor Garland is a good playmaker, and he does play the puck well. When he gets the puck, he keeps it for the most part. So I think that's what he wants, is he just genuinely wants to have a top 6 role somewhere, and I think he doesn't see that long term here in Vancouver, which is crazy because, to be honest, I would rather the Canucks keep Connor Garland in the top 6, maybe even flip out DiGiuseppe and play him on that second line, because I think he could support Miller and Besser very, very well, or even keep him on that top line and trade Bolivier, because I think he, like, genuinely, if you're looking at it from a franchise perspective, trying to make the smartest move, I think that is the smartest move. Okay, so now we're not talking about this trade anymore. We're not going to talk about these rumors. Let's dive into the first Canucks game, because starting the season, seeing them getting thrown in back-to-back games, well, not back-to-back, but you know what I mean, back-to-back against the Edmonton Oilers, I was like, ooh, this could be bad. I could see them going 0-2. At best, I was happy for a 1-1. And I was thinking, especially in the first game being Vancouver, being the home opener, hoping Tocchet does what he preaches, which is getting them ready for game time, getting them kind of hyped up and ready to give it their all every night, that the first game would be the game the Canucks had to win. In my opinion, if they lost that first game in Vancouver, they were not going to win the one in Edmonton. That's just how I seen it. Like, it would have started to snowball all over again, and I would have been like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But the Vancouver Canucks came in, and they were inspiring. I think it was a mix of the Canucks just playing well and getting some good bounces, but it was also a mix of Edmonton just having garbage goaltending and rough defending. And I think that combination led to the fantastic 8-1 finish that we saw in Game 1 in Vancouver. What was most incredible about it is this was the game that showcased the offense that the Vancouver Canucks can provide. That's like the greatest aspect of this whole thing is we know that Talkett's come in and he really wants to improve on the Canucks' defensive game, their penalty kills. But what we really saw in that first game was good old Canucks hockey when they would win last season, or even under Bruce Boudreau, where they would score themselves out of situations, and it felt like that game in Game 1. They didn't play bad defensively by any means, but I just think their offensive game was just that much better that you didn't even really look at the improvements they made defensively. You didn't even really get to see it and showcase it in that game because they were just scoring on their chances. Vancouver Canucks had 32 shots while the Edmonton Oilers were sitting at a whopping 27 shots on goal. You can see by the shots per goal per period, the Vancouver Canucks finished with 32, the Edmonton Oilers finished with 27. I think the Canucks pretty much outplayed and actually played really, really well all round in every period. The second period, they did get outshot by 4, but that's whatever. They outshot the Edmonton Oilers by 4 and then again by like 6 in the third period. That's 5. My math's terrible. But at the end of the day, Vancouver Canucks played really well offensively. What I liked about it is we got goals from all lines, which I think is huge. I mean, the first goal by Garland with a wicked assist by PD, like an unbelievable pass. Sick pass over a couple defensemen, right on the stick of Connor Garland, who makes a nice move in tight to finish. That was fire. And then Brock Boeser, man, a natural hat trick, gets 3 back-to-back-to-back goals. And that's what you like to see. I mean, Boeser has been improving playmaking dramatically. We've seen it last season where he ended up being a very underrated playmaker. But his goal scoring, man, that's been the number one thing. He came into the NHL as a sniper, and everyone wanted to see him score goals, thinking he could score 30 plus. And he's just kind of transitioned into that playmaker. But it's good to see that his luck and bounces are changing, and he can actually score some goals now. And this makes Brock Boeser lethal. And in my opinion, if he keeps playing like this, easily worth the $6 million he's getting. If he puts around 60 to 70 points, definitely worth it. Draisaitl then answered on the power play, which is one thing the Canucks have been trying to fix is their power play, or is their penalty kill, sorry. But in all fairness, I mean, you're playing one of the best power plays in the world. So, I mean, come on, like, you're bound to let one in. PD gets a power play goal, which is good to see. The crazy thing about PD is even last year, he pretty much got majority of his points not on the power play, 5-on-5, which if he starts putting up goals and even just points in general on the power play, man, we're seeing an improvement for sure, especially if he starts potting in goals. His shot has looked lethal so far to start the season, and he's starting to not look shy to shoot the puck, which is exactly what we want to see. Boeser then follows it up with his 4th of the game, a nice assist by Hughes and Hronek. JT Miller, another assist by Hughes, another assist by PD, and then Dakota Joshua, which is awesome to see. Assists by Lafferty and Hoglander, which there's more to see from those two in the next game. You guys will hear about that. But I mean, damn, it's good to see goal scoring throughout the lineup. Our stars did score. Boeser, we even got Garland, PD, Miller, but then we got some depth guys pitching in, which is so awesome to see. So that game 1 was huge. That was a must win in my opinion. Like, maybe not a must win, it's a bit dramatic for the first game of the season, but if they were to win any of them, it was going to be that one in my opinion. Then they head into Edmonton. Obviously, Edmonton's pissed off. They lost 8-1. They want some redemption, and they didn't get it. Vancouver Canucks won this game 4-3, and they hung on. You know how I said in the first game, the Vancouver Canucks won it strictly off their offense and showing their offensive capabilities? Well, it was literally the opposite in this game. They showed some offensive capabilities, scoring 4 goals on 16 shots. That's seizing the moment. That's making the most of your opportunities. And the Edmonton Oilers had 40 shots. We got badly outshot. Some of that has to do with the power plays, which you guys will see. It was a little lopsided. You guys can see here the shots. Vancouver Canucks played a pretty solid game in that first period, getting scored on first, then being able to rebound on the power play. That's impressive. But man, that second and third period, we got absolutely destroyed. Edmonton showed why they are one of the best teams in the league and why they are a cup contender by just dominating us. Some of this could be because we didn't really come to play, but I think the Edmonton Oilers were just pissed off. I genuinely think they were just mad and playing some of their best hockey, not scoring wise, but like keeping possession and applying pressure, they did such a good job at that. So we got to give them credit. But our defense didn't break, which is phenomenal to see. You guys can see here the Edmonton Oilers went 2 for 7 on the power play, which in my opinion, the Vancouver Canucks can't take those penalties. You cannot take 7 penalties against the Edmonton Oilers, because them on a heater and their power play at like the best it can be, they're probably scoring 5 of those 7 power plays. Like that's just how good they are. So the fact we killed off as many as we did also does got to show some strength and some improvement in the penalty kill, and you absolutely love to see that. We went 1 for 3 on the power play, which truthfully isn't that bad. That's kind of to be expected. I think if you get 3 power plays, scoring 1, not too bad. Ideally, you'd like them to maybe score 2, but it is what it is. We were up in the face-off department. As you guys can see, their block shots are insane. We had 25 block shots, they had 9, and that just goes to show what Rick Tocchet has really implemented for this team, and that is to just put your body on the line and play your best hockey and fight hard for every like center, or what am I trying to say? Fight for every like inch of ice. And that's exactly what the Vancouver Canucks did, which is super impressive. That's something we haven't really seen from them. So it's super awesome to see that this year. They at times were scary defensively, don't get me wrong. There was times it was scrambly and I was like, oh my god, like this is like watching 4 Tyler Myers on the ice. But they always, or not always, because they got scored on a few times, but they definitely for the most part got out of it okay. Penalties were the biggest problem in this game. I genuinely think if there was no power plays, the shots are definitely a lot closer, and the game's probably even closer, even though it was a 4-3. But I think that the power plays definitely made the shots way more lopsided than it was supposed to be. Goals in this game came from Draisaitl off the bat, Kuzmenko with a tip-in on the power play, typical Kuzmenko goal right there. Then Höglander on a tip-in, a shot from Brock Besser, you like to see that. McDavid answers in the second period to tie it up. Then Jack Studnicka on this 2-on-0 from the Vancouver Canucks with Petey and Studnicka. What is interesting about it is Petey has one of the best shots, I would say, in the game, and he decided to pass to Studnicka to play a pick on Darnell Nurse, which then let Studnicka score a goal, which I think is just good to see from Studnicka. Like, he misses that. People are like, why did Petey pass it? But he scores it, so now it makes Petey look like a genius for making that pass and doing that pick. So, I mean, that works out. Nugent Hopkins then ties it again, and then Sam Lafferty in the third period, 2 minutes in, or 3 minutes in pretty much, scores the game-winning goal with a sick rush. Like, right now, that trade is looking fantastic. Both trades are looking fantastic, because Casey DeSmith, I mean, unbelievable performance. Like, actually unbelievable performance. 37 saves, and there were some like good saves that he had to make too. Like, it wasn't just a walk in the park for him. He really had to be on his A game, and he really was. I was very impressed with his performance. But the Vancouver Canucks start their season 2-0. That is just awesome to see. That's something I'm very excited about. I'm sure a lot of fans are. It's almost like a sigh of relief. I know they could still blow it, but they go on a road trip here, and I genuinely think they have an opportunity to come back with a pretty healthy record after this road trip. I think majority of the teams they have a fighting chance to beat. I think Tampa could be a bit of a tough one, but they don't got Vasilevsky. Florida will be a tough one for sure. They got Nashville, Philly. I just think they genuinely can go on a bit of a run here and get off on a good start here, especially after going 2-0 against the Edmonton Oilers. So as a Canucks fan, I'm genuinely very, very excited. I know it is only 2 games into the season, but it's the fact we saw 2 different styles of wins. We saw winning with them outscoring, and then we saw winning with them just hunkering down and playing insane defense. So it's really cool to see it from both sides and see the improvement they made defensively. Makes me very optimistic. Regardless, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. How excited are you guys for this 2-0 start? Are you optimistic? Are you excited? Or are you just like, I want to see more? This isn't enough. Let me know down in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back next Sunday for another Canucks weekly recap. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.